like crashed. That's wonderful. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Okay. After refreshing, I think we are incredibly back. Hopefully I've not missed anything. Excellent. Well, it says excellent connection, but is it actually going though? Heck. Pardon. Well, worst case scenario, there's no stream, and I just never realize. Would be hilarious. Yeah, check it out. What? Oh, wait, I forgot. I have a button to skip everything. It's this one. That's right. Okay, give me a sec. I'll get, you know, the title very clearly promises a rambling man, so if you pardon and excuse me for a little tiny bit, I'll warm up on thinking and playing the video game, and the ramblings will commence soon enough. As I have a topic to talk about, perhaps. I don't know how much of it is a topic and how much of it is just random unassembled thoughts that I feel particularly interested in at the moment. But the topic is somewhere alongside the oh yeah, I was talking about getting the first death of the stream out of the way. I'm doing pretty good on that front. What's my health looking like? Absolutely awful. It's awesome. Can I regen in any way at all? No, so can you drop health? No. Oh. Right, I thought I screwed myself. Careful. Oh, yeah, careful, he said, and then he died. Wait, I healed? When did I heal? Was it... What? When did I heal? Did this guy heal me? Confused. Wait, I do have 2 ability points. Might as well spend them before I die horribly and, and restart from the beginning. Okay, don't worry, we hit... We'll just be extra careful with the jumps. Right? Nothing bad will happen? You just be extra careful. It's fine. See? Nothing bad will happen. It's okay. The insta-kill lasers, it doesn't matter what my HP is with the insta-kill lasers, they insta-kill. It's like we're good. Okay, fine. I remember going down here. Perhaps should be waiting to see the platforms I jump on, but surely we can work something out. We don't have to care about that too hard. Like, see, it's okay. It's perfectly fine. Nothing, no problems whatsoever. Oh. Ooh. Almost slipped. Let's regen while I have the opportunity. Okay, topic. Gooding indeed. Topic. That's enough gaming. It's time to ramble. So, you know how we live in a society, right? Is there a better way to start making a point than saying we live in a society? But, okay, and this is... Oh, I'm dead. Oh, I'm not dead. There's a platform here. So, society adjacent. Society adjacent is like values and choices and what we find acceptable as a collective. And I find it interesting... Oh, that was pretty dumb. I find it interesting that in the age of the internet, we are all effectively bombarded with information from all over the place, everywhere. I say that this is not a very poignant observation, I realize, but bear with me. I'll get into something. We... Like, it's not really a choice to be in contact with the entire planet, because, like, sure, you can isolate yourself in the woods, etc., etc., and that is for about as long as it takes for like the government or whoever else to take interest in what you are doing in the woods. And then at that point it very quickly becomes of interest. And even before that, right, you have other people, and it's a thought I've had, because it's like, oh, I'd like my face to not be on the internet, thank you. And then you realize all it takes is one relative with Google Photos. I'll drag the game. Is the game too loud? I feel like it might be. No, it's. I think. Never mind. All it takes is one relative with just Google Photos backup to enabled, and then any picture they take of you goes into Google's database, and then Google is very capable of forming, you know, a model of your face and then recognizing, like you get recognized in the photos. It's like, oh, but it's fine because it's a private corporation, and private corporations, as per usual, have never done anything wrong, and it's not a problem. It's like, and besides, you are just one anonymous guy who like nobody cares about. So like, why do you worry about this? It's like, well, for as long as I am one anonymous guy, that doesn't really matter. It's like, I guess it's fine. It's not fine, but like for the sake of argument, I guess. But then the problem is, this is all in a computer, and you know, I have done a thing or perhaps two things with computers, and it turns out when there's data on the computer, you can just search through the data. Like you can write code and tell the computer to give you the information you are looking for, basically no matter how large the data set is. And if you need like proof of that, literally look anything up on Google and see how fast it is to find something from an amount of data that's absurd. Like, it's bafflingly huge, the data set they deal with, and yet there's like not much of a problem with searching through it. So from that point, it's very similar with basically any other event or any other thing that goes on in your life. It's like, sure, you can detach yourself from the internet, or you can like isolate yourself in some way, and it's generally, I think, a good thing to do as well, because you don't want to have an endless torrent of information flowing into your brain at all times. But you will not. Yeah, it's kind of like you can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. And it's similar with, because the internet is part of reality, and you know, as much as, oh, the internet's not real life, yeah, you could say that, but then like please take a look at how much the internet affects everyday life and like public policy, etc. If you want something that's like country level, it's like, you absolutely, the internet is reality. Like, it's not literally reality because it's digital, but you get my point. So with that, we've got access to the entire world, and even if we don't, other people that we are in contact with have access to the entire world. And so, and the second idea I want to connect this to is that, you know, as might be funny to hear from a self-proclaimed turbo autist, I was like, okay, I can't know everything, right? Like, I can't possibly fully comprehend everything ever. I can't understand all of the processes going on around me to a fully deep level. I can't. It's impossible. There's too much of it. And so the proposition that society should be ordered in some way around a logical and like that we can, you know, logic and understanding our way into living as a society is I don't quite buy it, to be honest. It's like, this is even besides the point of like the quantity. Also, not everybody's smart. But then, through the internet and through just generally the sheer access to information we have, and we actually the sheer amount of it that flows in our everyday lives and we just can't get away from, it's like, it seems like it's inherent in a way to that. It's like, are you gonna form a like a nation that's going to be, well, are you gonna be North Korea, I guess, or like China? It's like, China is not isolated from the world, really. Like, they have the Great Firewall, but I don't think they are literally like completely isolated from everything. I don't think that's true. I think you still have that. Like, maybe North Korea is the closest we have, or maybe, I guess, uncontacted tribes could also be the other example. It's like, but do you really want to be an uncontacted tribe? I guess the question I'm kind of getting at is like, is it even possible, or is it like, in any way, is it gonna happen that technological progress actually stops somewhere? And people generally say it's like, okay, that's too much. Because I am very familiar, and I have myself used for things like machine learning, like AI in general. It's like, oh, AI will... Damn it, I completely lost the thought. What? What's disconnecting? What was it? Oh yeah, that it is going, like the classic argument, it is going to continue. Like you are not gonna stop it. It's the common thing to respond to when people have concerns like, oh, I don't want this thing to be replacing people drawing and people's creativity. And I don't want people to, instead of, you know, being naturally inspired and looking for inspiration in the real world and in other works from other people, just typing prompts into ChatGPT. Which I sympathize with both sides of the argument, actually, because I understand the I feel like I understand both sides, and I kind of agree with both. It's like, on one hand, I doubt this is gonna stop, but then I see the concern of it. It's like similar with this. It's like, I don't think this technology is stopping. It's like, but the question for me becomes, it's like, okay, so what is going to be the answer for living in a world that is like this? Because it's not going away and it's not changing, and even if it was changing, like, people will not want the discomfort and all the downsides, and hell, I don't really want that. Like, I'm not very interested. I like computers, as you might have noticed, perhaps, from the fact that I'm streaming a video game and I'm, you know, generally I program for a living. It's like, I'm not the guy to be looking for in terms of, like, Return to Monkey. It's like, no, monkeys, boring, actually. I like computers. Hot take, I realize. Tech progress will stop when people stop wanting more of everything. It's like, well, is that real? Chat? Grog, is this real? That's funny. It's like, does it like, what's the meme? Fully automated luxury space communism or something like that? It's like, we reach UBI and then people will stop wanting more of everything. It's like, because for me, I've reached the kind of oversaturation point in a lot of ways, and I've just cut down on what I actually consume on the internet a whole lot. Like, a whole lot. I still watch some YouTube videos, but it's like I'm generally watching less and less over time. Now I'm wondering, because there's some movement and some people going like, oh, this like wastes your potential and it's bad for your brain and brain rot and you shouldn't be doing it, and then other people are saying like, yes, but I'm still doing it. It's like the technology is not gonna get worse. The technology is gonna get more better at grabbing attention. So I do wonder, because one of the hypotheses I was thinking might be what's gonna happen is kind of what's, I guess, already happening with things like Discords, where you get people effectively forming, like, self-segregating into tribes, but instead of living in one location with your tribe, you are in one online location with your tribe. Like, you have a Discord server of your friends, or like you have your little community where people think similarly and you kind of know each other. It's like, I guess, normal human behavior just transferred online, with like all the debates and stipulations that come from that. So it's so that's one thing, but I don't think that's quite the same as what you would normally have, like, with people. Like normally you don't segregate like that, right? Like, it's a different, yes, but I'm still doing it, that's called addiction. I mean, it's not wrong, but it's like, I don't know, it's like, do we send everybody to rehab? I don't think that's gonna happen. Maybe that's pessimism or not seeing the situation clearly, but are we gonna send everybody to rehab because everybody's addicted to the phone? It's like, not sure. And well, I don't know how much, you know, everybody being addicted to the phone is even the real quote-unquote problem, the quote-unquote real problem. Because I think in a lot of ways, I think addiction is, you know, an apt comparison, because you don't usually get addiction out of nowhere, right? It's like with alcohol addiction, for example, like the reason why people get into drinking and then they drink to forget, right? So you have people who have other vices, or other, like, have other problems in life and have other flaws, and then they, like, what's it called? Like, the vice, the addiction comes on top of that, kind of, like, from that, because there's other flaws. Do we send everyone to rehab? Rehab works where you want it to work. Good point. Very good point, in fact. Excellent, even. And yeah, and that's kind of what I'm trying to say. It's you know, if the actual quote-unquote real underlying problem, like, underneath your actual addiction is, then, you know, trying to battle smartphone addiction is not really gonna be very effective, because, like, as with the rehab, right? It's like, if you send somebody to rehab, he doesn't, I don't care. Like, I like this problem. I like alcohol a lot. It's like, that's not gonna do much, now is it? And similar here, because I have recently had a conversation where I was trying to, like, talk about something being a spiritual issue, and I realized that for people, like, the issue of, like, spiritual problems and just generally spirituality is associated very much with belief in the supernatural, which, like, granted, valid, etc., but I think a lot of spiritual truth is just, I guess, supernatural in the way that we don't really measure spiritual things directly. We measure them through things we can observe in material reality. So I guess in that way it's supernatural slash, like, not immaterial, maybe would be a better term. But, like, so much of it is just truths that are not, you know, are more than just material and just, like, how your body reacts to certain things. Because you can get people who say, things like, oh, this is like you could explain emotion and how you you could explain your body reacts in this way to things, and it's an important component because you don't wanna, you know, you live in your body, like you are your body, so you want to have a correct and full model of yourself to work with. But then, yeah, man, I lost the thought again. Like, you have your body, and you want to be able to work with it, but then there's more to the pattern of what happens with you and how your life goes, etc. That I believe that like things like virtues and vices, or like certain tendencies you have, etc. It's all like there's more to it than just what the physical and material changes in your like brain chemistry, etc. are. It's not enough to have that pattern, and besides, like none of this is easily measurable, right? Like none of this, it's not easy to measure how much, I don't know, how much patience you have. How do you quantify patience, right? So I guess you could quantify it by measuring certain times, but then like you would have to account for a lot of variables, which is like fine. Like if you are doing a study, you would have to quantify it. But the point is, like in your day-to-day life, you're not gonna be testing yourself consistently with some test that just determines your patience points, and then you look if that grew, right? Like you have certain indicators. You can look at things, but it's all of it is not like it's not a video game, right? It's not stats. I can't patience increase to 99 like Skyrim screen. Point being, like you don't. But then, because despite that not being easily measurable and not being easily quantifiable, maybe is another word to use. Despite that, patience still exists. You can tell impatient people from impatient people, and it's very relevant in terms of like what you do and how your life goes. It's important to train your patience and get better at it, despite the fact that it isn't measurable and quantifiable, really, like not directly anyway, and not very precisely. It's interesting because with this very like information heavy world and very discussion heavy world, because by nature of having a lot of information and contact with a lot of people, you also get the, you know, everybody has their own opinion and all that jazz, and there's an insane amount of opinions you are actually exposed to and that actually affect you, because it's not just, you know, it's not your village and there's just like a couple of weirdos in your village, or like how much different thinking are you gonna have in like with a very small sample size? But then if the sample size is the entire world, then all the weirdos also have like a strong voice, and they can collect, not just be the weirdos, but rather be a like very loud voice in the general sphere for. So you have to deal with all of that. And it's like, and a lot of those people, and especially people who dwell in the online, you end up with like, oh, you should show me sources and we should argue on the data. But then at a certain point, and the more busy you are, the more quickly that point is reached. You very quickly get to the point where that's just a denial of service attack, effectively. Because, like, oh, right, yeah. So you think that you would like me to answer you on why that should be like that. You know, you should You want me to provide like an answer for why we should have certain things, and we should have certain traditions, and we should have maybe should act a certain way. It's like, okay, but then we have a very wrong default in those kinds of conversations, because the default really shouldn't be that we are starting from the point that nobody should do nothing. It's like, I don't want to argue with you for why I should drop my standards just this additional bit more, and then continuously do that. And if I can't exactly and scientifically and precisely formulate why we should keep a certain standard, then we should just drop that standard. Because the amount of effort that is required for somebody to just say random nonsense garbage that sounds plausible, and then, you know, me to actually build a fully fledged response that defends that thing, not just from what you said, but actually build a positive vision for what the thing is and how it should be and how it works and what is important. It's like the disproportion is insane. And it's like, in no way is it reasonable for things to be defended in that way. But it's like, but then it's very easy to destroy things in that matter. Because when you take things apart, right, and when you really examine like the parts of it, it's easy to find flaws and it's easy to poke holes into things. But it's very hard to come up with an alternative positive vision. It's like, oh, no, I believe it should work like this, right? It's like, I'm taking this component out from how it used to function, but I am replacing it with this system that will work like this. And it's like, okay, maybe revolutionary, and you want to be probably careful about doing things like that, because it's very hard to actually know what that's gonna do. But on the other hand, it's like, okay, you know, at least you are coming to me with something that we can compare and we can talk about, and we can debate whether my positive vision is better or your positive vision is better. Like, one of us is probably, like, we can bring arguments, we can compare, and if I point out that, oh, there's a flaw in this here, so you can say, it's like, okay, sure, yeah, right, that is a problem, and I have this solution, or like I have this idea to deal with it. Because we are talking about, because you fundamentally actually have the idea that you want to solve these problems, right? It's maybe even more than about the positive vision. It's about the attitude, where you come to the table and you actually would like to solve the problem, and you would like to, you know, have a solution and have some idea, and then we'd be talking about that idea. Oh, hi. Hello. So, like, when I don't know, it's interesting, because I am a big fan, as the people say. I'm a big fan of talking about things, but then give me stuff to work with. As in, like, if I want to talk about, if I see an issue and if I have a problem, it's like, okay, I have a solution, and it's all well and dandy if you give me an idea. And this kind of circles back to what I was talking about earlier with the what was it? The, like, information overload, and generally, like, trying that I'm a little bit frustrated with having more questions and like doubts, and seeing more problems than I actually see solutions. It's part of that, because it's like, okay, I'd like to come to the table and not just complain about things, but I'd also like to figure out some kind of solution and figure out what we could do about it. It's like, what can I actually change in my life, or how I talk to people, or what I talk about, in order to approach better solutions. And then usually I can, you know, I usually can find the holes in my own argument, which is something I perhaps do too much of sometimes. Yeah, proposing criticism is as easy, solutions are difficult is a good way to put it. It's a shorter way to put it. It's like, it's not that criticism are not valuable, but at the end of the day, if we are gonna do something about something, then if all you have is just criticism, then at the end of the day you are proposing we should just leave it alone. And if you are proposing we should just leave it alone, then that's the solution. That's what the proper framework is for actually evaluating whether the idea is good or not. It's like, okay, let's compare the idea I have to the idea of let's do nothing, and let's see which one in this situation is going to be the correct option. Because it could be like I could just have the worst idea ever and be very stupid and etc etc. It's like, okay, valid, you know, maybe doing nothing would be better in some cases, but surely it's not all of them. Surely it's not that we just yeah, to go back to the previous topic of internet addiction or generally information overload. It's like, okay, is like sending everybody to rehab from looking at their phone is not a viable solution. Like, it's not happening, right? It's like people should stop looking at their phone. It's like, okay, I think if they should and they would, surely, like, we would be past this problem by now. Like, if people would be doing that, they would do that. It's like, what's gonna change? Is there gonna be like a sweeping social movement where people suddenly realize, phone bad, and then suddenly all the problems with phone addiction are just gone in a millisecond because like there's enough social pressure on people to just stop using their phone? Like the frustrating part is like I very much don't have any idea on how to answer that question. There are no solutions, only trade-offs. Like, yep, certainly. But there's some trade-offs that are so good that you could treat them as straight upgrades. But then, like in actual life situations, it's rarely that great. Or perhaps that's kind of a bias because you remember the situations which are more difficult more. So if you like have a bunch of easy to solve situations, you just don't remember them. So and then it'll appears as if it's just big problems and it's all trade-offs. I get what you mean though. So it makes sense. I don't know. I do wonder because in a certain way, I do wonder if a lot of the things that are criticized in modern times about phone addiction or internet addiction and whatnot, I think a certain amount of it, and I don't know how much, I don't even know how to really quantify or evaluate how much, but I think a big part of it is that we are taking things that seem to just be human nature in a way and just how humans operate and how humans work, and then we are, you know, it's because the kids are on the damn phones all the time. It's not really like that. As in like you have these problems and it's not just because people are on their phones. It's just maybe more easily visible or like more pronounced because it's on the phone and it's on the internet and it affects you more. But the fundamental issue is just human. Is it got people... I feel like I'm kind of regurgitating things I've probably already heard before, like people say, or even myself I've said them before. Wait, this is not a smart idea. I should probably not be dropping that. I'm gonna die. I don't even have that. Oops. Probably should have thought about that before coming down here, shouldn't I? But this doesn't refill my energy. My thought is like, it's frustrating to kind of deal with, because I see I've heard a lot of the idea that, well, you know, you should get off your phone or like get off your computer and be in the real world, but then you go into the real world and you realize there's the same people that are online are also in the real world. It's like, it's still people. So, and then the people are also online, so it's not quite just drop out of that, bro, because, well, you might, but then will the other people? And the answer is no, they won't. So you will be dropped out, and then you will have an additional problem, which is you will be the one guy, and I have certainly experienced this a lot, where it's like I am the one guy who has seen nothing, who has read nothing, who is not in the know, who doesn't, like, not plugged into the culture at all. So I end up listening to a lot of conversations because I can't really contribute, because I just haven't engaged with the culture in a way. I'm kind of a passive observer. It's like easy to find a scapegoat for issues rather than finding a more nuanced answer, even something's a contributing factor. I mean, it's certainly easier just by nature of how the arguments work, because it's something I've been kind of thinking, because I've been writing a response to a video that particularly annoyed me for ages, is that because the main problem with the video is that it effectively takes a position that is the topic of the video is playtime doesn't matter. So it's like the idea is that the amount of experience you have in any given game doesn't matter, because your opinion is either correct or it isn't, and just then it's not relevant to like how much experience you have and how many hours you've played for. It just doesn't affect the opinion, which is like, and the way the guy argues for the opinion is to defend it. He says that because he tries to argue through contradiction, which is you flip the argument, then you say, oh look, if I flip the argument, it is stupid if I flip the argument, therefore my original position is fine. Which is just a massive mistake, and I think it's kind of related to finding like a scapegoat or simplifying the argument down, because if you flip always into never, it's a mistake because there's a lot of space in the middle. But then it enables very easy arguments, because the opposite is quite ridiculous, because, well, it's ridiculous to say, like, if you want to show somebody that thinks, oh, no, actually, your number of hours is enough to make sure that you are correct always, all the time. And yeah, it does sound overwhelmingly stupid. When you actually put it like that, it does sound really stupid, because the main thing is, and the very big thing is, it's like, okay, yes, if you already know the opinion is true, then you can indeed say that, actually, yeah, it doesn't really matter how much experience you have. But then, if you don't know, then how do you evaluate whether the opinion is true or not? And then you get into, well, maybe the experience actually does play into it a little bit, and the argument, the entire middle kind of opens up immediately. But then it's much easier to actually flip the argument, present the guy that says that your playtime is just all that matters, present him as stupid, and then if you present him as stupid, then you just automatically win. It's weird, because also the kind of unsatisfying part about thinking of things like that is you end up with a lot of just "it depends" as the answer, which is very unsatisfying. Because, you know, it's nice to be able to slam the hammer and just say like, oh, like this is stupid, or this doesn't matter, or this is the most important thing, or this is like generally the extremes are exciting. It's like when you can say something just doesn't or always does, or this is or like exaggerated in a way, that's what sells, right? That's what grabs attention. That's what makes people interested. And then if you try to like look at the topic number 1758 and once again you say to it, it's like, oh, actually it depends, guys, it depends. It's like, wow, look at this guy. Oh, just have nothing to say. It's like, no, actually, it depends on a lot of things. I can talk about the things it depends on, but it's like a lot less exciting than the big exclamation point, doesn't matter, I hate this, this is absolute trash fire, this is garbage, oh, it sucks, it blows, I hate it, etc. And I realize, because even if you present an argument, it's like I also concede that you shouldn't just make things boring because you for some kind of, I don't know, vendetta, or it's like, oh, the guy made a clickbait thumbnail, therefore my video is going to be the driest, least emotional response possible. It's like, no, that's tremendously boring to watch. Like that don't do that. That's not good. That's not good either, but it also gets me quite tired as well, because it seems like everybody's getting the school of clickbait thumbnails, like everybody's going to the school of clickbait thumbnails, so like you look at your feed and what gets recommended, and it's just, even if it's a video topic I'm interested in, I'm like, I don't want to click this, because this is blatant clickbait. Like, it's like, you're not enticing me to click on your video. In a way, you are trying to present like some kind of FOMO, or like you have to know this, or it's like, or rage bait me into actually watching your points. As in, like, this is so maddeningly, improbably, like, there's no way this guy actually argues this point properly, so I'm gonna click on the video. And then, believe it or not, the guy doesn't actually end up arguing it properly, and I am struck with one more case of I clicked on a clickbait thumbnail and now I am mad. Which tends to happen more often than I'd like to admit, to be honest. Ow, I should stop taking damage, probably. So, I don't know, I'm tired of the attention economy, you could say, but then again, it's like, it's not like the attention economy, quote unquote, is gonna just go away on its own. Because, you know, as with really any economy, it's like generally about what people want. So it's like, people want attention. Breaking news. Shocking, I know. How can we make the entire human race stop craving attention? Or at least like a significant portion of the human race stop being interested in receiving attention? Thoughts? Ideas? I don't know, I do feel in moments like this where I kind of arrive at a conclusion that's like, oh well, it's simply because people just want attention. And because there's the market of attention through the internet opens up to, I can get attention from anyone in the entire world, and then I end up with then it's effectively, it's like, okay, so it's kind of just gonna be like this. I guess this is just how people are, so I want to get frustrated at how humans are by like as normal, then it's probably not. Like, it's probably not really worth it to get particularly pissed off about that. And then it's something that you work with as like, oh, that's just how things work. It's not, oh, this super frustrating fact. Like, if only we could do thing X, then we could. If we could only get thing X, we could stop this forever. If we only, I don't know, banned TikTok, no more short-form video content, and then we just fixed everybody's attention span, and nobody wants like fast food content, etc. It's like, I don't know. That seems to me like there's a reason why people watch that, and the reason is not like the reason. It's because somebody linked a study on. And I like linked a video covering a study would be a more accurate way to put that. Like, oh, this is how TikTok rots your brain, blah blah blah. Scientists found changes in the brain in people who watch short form content. It's like, well, scientists didn't really find changes in the brain. Scientists found that the brains of people who engage with short form content or like it and depend on it and whatnot. Scientists found that the brains of those people are different. It's like, well, there could be two ways this could be interpreted. You could say that, oh, TikTok rots your brain, or you could take the other option. It's like, oh, some people actually have their brains formed in a way that makes them more susceptible to and more interested in watching short form video content. So. And it's funny because the case itself is like an example of what I'm talking about, where it's an incredibly sensationalized clickbait title. It's like, "Rots your brain, wow, so bad," and then the article cover doesn't actually say that, and in fact says that, well, the study's not really conclusive on that. It's like, oh, it rots your brain, it's so bad. It's like in the very point you are making, you are illustrating that, you know, you don't actually have to watch short brain video content to have this problem of brain rot, where you just take something and the first thing you actually read on it is the take you are gonna emerge with. It's like, not, don't have to be on TikTok for that. And that is not even denying that TikTok is bad for your brain, because I don't know if anybody would be particularly shocked to learn that TikTok is bad, even if, I don't know if there's like already there's already a study, but like certainly I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked to learn that TikTok has negative effects on people's brains. Like, that doesn't appear as the most shocking and controversial revelation. I don't know. I think these rambles I keep having from time to time, where I have a funk, and I realize I've said this already in this stream, but it's like I'm trying to get it from my own head. This is a therapy session. Therapy. I'm trying to like slap this into my own skull. Okay, listen. This is how humans work, you know, it's not the end of the world, we're not gonna all explode and die, probably. Not quite yet. So the question, the frustrating question that always kinda happens in this is like, can you do something about other people that don't want to do something with it themselves to help the problem? Because it's like, if somebody has the problem and is like that, where it's like, oh, no thanks, I'd actually like the simplified easy solution that maybe isn't accurate, but at least it doesn't require me to think. It's like, well, I can't make you think about it. I don't really want to make you think about it in any way. I don't think that's a good solution to anything. But like, there's still the question, It's like, well, what do I do? You know, what do I do? Because, oh, and this is another thought. It's like, okay, like, a lot of things are more complicated than I can actually... A lot of things are more complicated than I actually comprehend and understand, and then come to, like, a full understanding with other people as well. Where we, like, all just rationally accept and understand everything that we do and why we do it. So then, do I want to live... So then... You know, it's not just a matter of, oh, I'd like to convince you of something. It's also a matter of, I'd like us, oh, oops. I'd like us to be able to cooperate, and I'd like to do things, and I like to, you know, perhaps engage in some projects, etc., and I'd like to make things, but then if you have people who don't really want to think about things, then it becomes really difficult to actually have a conversation. And, well, conversation, you can talk, but like solving issues, doing projects, and like building things, it's not really. Hello, welcome to a man rambling about human nature for and as an excuse to ramble, I play a video game in the background. It's funny because been a while indeed. I've been, can you believe it, that I'm, like, anytime you talk to me and ask me what's been going on, it's like every time the answer is I've become more busy. It's and it's funny because it doesn't feel that way. I feel all the time. I feel like, oh, maybe I could be doing more, and then after a while, I do more, but then I still feel like I should be doing even more, and it's like a treadmill. But then it's okay because treadmill makes you not fat, and it's in fact okay and good to not be fat. So that's my excuse for rambling anyway. This is why I spent 7 hours talking to myself. This is not a drawing stream, but I have in fact delayed the start of the stream because I had the idea for the thumbnail, and then I was like, I need to draw that. I need this to be the thumbnail. Because the like whole drawing that I wanted to make as like the idea started as a thumbnail, I don't even like it anymore. I mean, I don't consider it horrible, but I don't... Like, I feel like I could do it better. So maybe I will. Maybe there'll be a second saga where I take like a similar concept and I draw it again. But no, this is in fact a rambling about the state of society stream. It's very, very, very deep thoughts here only, such as people lazy and phone bad. Only the highest quality philosophical opinions on this channel. You know what, if there's any takeaway from all of that, is that at least, even if the conclusion is just like people are people, at least I feel better about after talking about it. So it's like, you know, personal rambling session, I'm fine with it. And then volunteers watching the rambling session, thank you. It's great. Yeah, drawing, I have recently been discovering interesting things about drawing. In other words, to make it sound less exciting, I've reinvented painting. It is funny because I don't watch tutorials, or like I don't in any way practice or do nothing of that sort, because I just want drawing to be a hobby, where I just don't bother with any of those things, 'cause it's just you passed the year gaming, GG easy, congratulations. It's like, because I don't really do any of that. It's like I end up just discovering things that other people probably just hear in a tutorial and don't really like don't have to discover. And I could do that to myself. I could probably watch tutorials, but I just don't want to, and at this point it's become a meme, and I'm also very stubborn. So anyway, about discovering painting, right? Because what I used to do, and if you like look at the drawing I did for the like gory thumbnail, etc., and other drawings, I've been doing a lot of sketching, where I basically sketch the entire thing out and like plan it out and build the geometry and whatnot before I even start putting in color. So it's effectively like a two-step process. I start with establishing the lines and the geometry of everything and the shapes, and with sketching, and then I fill it in with color, and that's what I used to do. And then I'd shade the flat colors that I did. And what I've recently started trying to do a little more is I've started to get a loose sketch, because a loose sketch is good at covering the general idea of what I actually want to be in the drawing. It's like, oh, I want a character here, and I want this element, and like I want there to be light here. And then I start picking colors effectively right after that. I don't polish it, I don't clean it up, I don't really define it better. It's like, okay, the next step is gonna be we are coloring effectively the entire image, and we're gonna establish a mood. I haven't opened Discord in a while. Have you done any drawings? I think you're on my drawing newsletter. I'm sending things as I do them, but I might have not sent some things. I'm gonna be real. I will take a look. I don't want any drawing spoilers, exactly, because it's fun. It's fun to like come up with these things on my own, and then as my copium, I'll say that maybe I'll have a more unique style at the end of it, because I'll just do things my way without knowing what other people do. That's my copium for the moment. So anyway, like, I've discovered through just trying it, and was quite surprised by it, just how much, in terms of like the general mood of the image, is contributed by just the colors in certain places, and how much detail you actually don't have to have if you have these colors in the right places. It's like your eye doesn't quite like you don't comprehend every detail, right? Like you look at an image and you don't look at all the details and everything. You don't, well, unless you're me. But then even then, it's like if you start the like you're only if I focus on it can I start seeing like details and focusing on them. But normally I look at the whole thing, like I look at the entire picture. So it's similar with constructing the image. It's actually, and you know, this is probably, if you're not like me and you're not like a perfectionist and you're not over focusing on things you shouldn't be over focusing on, that's probably not a big discovery. But for me, it's like, okay, you don't have to actually get this very right, because the vast majority of the feel and what you actually want to convey with the image is gonna come from the general setup and where the colors are and what colors you pick. And I'm not like very good at picking colors yet. I'm like, as in, well, I can get the image to be decent colors at the end. I can't really pick them up, like pick colors just from the get-go. I go for way undersaturated things and generally just like don't quite get there immediately. But then thanks to digital tools, I can just adjust it later, which is nice. Because I can learn through that, and then next time there's a better hope that I actually pick a better color from the get-go, and it's more interesting. It's like I have a lot of respect for people who learn traditional, because traditional you don't have any of that. You just have to raw dog it, and if you mix paints for your colors, it's like, wow, okay, that's a level that I just I'm far away from that. I think this is gonna be a while until I'm able to just you know, mix paints and make colors and then make that into a good looking image without my crutches of redo and layers and color editing, etc. Speaking of hobby, the other day, Simpunk City, Ritual thing? Oh, you mean like because it was like happening for a while? I can get that. It's funny because for me that was such a short thing. Because the thing about the thing, and this might kind of explain why I'm so weird in a way, is I'm very used to working on projects for amounts of time that, like, if you've not done long-term projects, you might find insane. Like, imagine you spend like 10 months, for example, and you just work on one thing over and over again for 8 hours a day. It's like, and it's not like you're making something that somebody else has already made. You're making something that's new, so you don't really have, like, you can look up technical documentation for the, like, software you're using, but you can't really look up docs or hints or anything for things that nobody has ever done before. And then at the end of those 9 months, you kind of, like, of course, you plan it, and you have ways of making sure that you don't end up making garbage that doesn't work at all. But then, like, there's this moment after these months of just, it's like, okay, is this thing I spent so much time about actually gonna work when we give it to people to use, and not just we test it out? So it's like, for me, that's like a brief project, that whole, like, drawing thing. However much of it we've done, like I don't remember, it's like 13 streams, whatever. I don't know. Like, that feels like a small project. Yeah, I think it's like, scratch the head. Yeah, the thinking about it and the part of it, it's like, that is, I get it. Like, in the way, like you get the process. Like, I think because it's like maybe a little window, because that is something I do like about the rare cases where I do get to actually work with someone on projects. It's like, it's nice to think through things with somebody else, because usually, you know, there's a saying in Polish, it's like two heads is not the same as one, which, like, doesn't sound great in English. Maybe there's a saying for that in English, but whoa, I've never fell here before. The point being that is generally, like, if you have two people looking at something, it's just way better than just having one guy, in terms of like, having perspective and thinking about things and having ideas. Two heads are better than one? Is that a thing? Okay, nice. Thank you, English, for having the same thing. I appreciate it. That's the saying in English, yeah. And I still want to make a big poster of the Abstract series. I endorse that poster. I want to see a picture if you end up making it. Feed my vanity a little bit. Perhaps. No, but, like, I don't know, there's something nice. That project was... The problem with that project is, like, it clashes with my general attitude to drawing. Because I effectively made it into a project. And I very specifically structure my drawing, and generally the hobbies I do. I make extra sure that I don't make them into another work project, kind of. And it's like, perhaps at the detriment to the amount of work I do on the project, but I think for the general benefit of my my own sanity, it's like, you know, I gotta keep in mind that I am a perfectionist in a lot of ways, and I care about certain things way too much. So I want to be careful when I do things, because I will overfocus, and I will put a lot of effort into it, and I will prioritize things that should certainly not be prioritized. So, like, I'm like paying attention to making sure that I don't turn my hobbies into work. So, like, I don't start having a schedule and beating myself up over, you know, not drawing enough or like not practicing something enough. I just like it's fine. It's like not anybody else's thing or like issue. It's just how I manage it in particular. You'll know if I end up making that poster. That's good, because I want to know. I want to feed my ego. I want to consume attention. Give me attention. No, it's actually okay to be happy about people enjoying things you make. I know that's a hot take, but it's actually okay to be happy. It's fine. It's in fact good when people like the things you do. That's allowed. That's allowed. Saying that to myself more than anything else. Anyone else. It's like interesting for that. Yeah, so to get back to the drawing point, or like the painting process. It's interesting because it kind of goes counter to what I usually do, right? Because I usually, and it's funny because I generally am trying and was trying and am trying still to do something similar with learning to speedrun Minecraft, which sounds funny, but there's like a method to the madness where, because I usually I default to like double, triple, quadruple checking everything and worrying about things a lot and like etc. And similar with the drawing style, right? It's I would draw in a very planned way and try to figure things out, and like in that project you can also see that like I make a gigantic sketch and then start filling it out, and it's like, this is ridiculous how large this project is, because there's like a lot of planning and there's not actually a lot of concern for what the picture's gonna be. There's just a lot. So the style is like, I'm trying to go with the flow a lot more, and painting is like that, because it's like, oh, I like put some colors here, I like make the light source is gonna be this is gonna be glowing bright blue, right? And then there's gonna be ground that's lit by that, and that's gonna have a certain color, and then there's, I don't know, there's gonna be a character lit a certain way, and I start adding the character, and then it's like, okay, if I start shading this, and normally, you know, I would sketch it out before shading everything, but then it's like, oh, I want to start shading the character immediately, because from how I shade the character, then I start filling in the context, the surrounding scene. Like it becomes kind of defined through the context that surrounds it, and kind of as it develops, the context also develops, and as the context develops, I have a better idea of what I actually want it to look like. Because, for example, the colors I pick, it's like, oh, I started with, and like, so the colors look kind of okay, but then I add more detail and I add other things, and I start looking at the composition. It's like, okay, this doesn't, like, these colors in context look actually worse than I wanted them to look, and it's like I change that, and it suddenly starts clicking into place and looking correct. That kind of deal. So the point being, basically, that it's like a very different way to what I'm usually, to what I'm generally used to doing, and kind of out of my comfort zone in a way. But there's also a certain, like I think the reason why it's out of the comfort zone is because it's a lot less predictable. It's like if I plan everything out and I sketch it out and I kind of have all of that, and it's like the process is, I make sure that what I'm doing is kind of gonna be good at the stage of the sketch. Like the sketch is very close to what the final product is actually going to look like in terms of what is actually going to be in the picture. So then, when I shade that and when I like finish it up, the reason why I was doing that is because I want to avoid additional effort on shading if the drawing is not good enough, because I don't want to reshade the whole thing because I decide later that, oh, this sketch is actually bad and like the perspective is broken and the things are not where they should be and it looks bad. So like I'd pre-plan it to avoid the additional effort, but then that also has another side effect, which means I'm less inclined to actually change and mess with things because, well, I'd have to go back and replan all of it, and it's like a somewhat rigid and like restrictive process because of how much effort it takes to actually correct mistakes afterwards. So I'd be more likely to actually just drop it and not continue with the project because it just because it annoys me that it has a lot of like all of that effort, but then, you know, it just doesn't go anywhere because I like it goes out the window and I have to start over. So then, like the painting method is a lot more, it's a lot more uncertain piecewise, because like I don't really know where I'm gonna end up. Like the colors I start with are very different from the colors I actually end up with at the very, like with the finished piece, but there's a lot more flexibility because I also use a lot less layers because I don't feel the need to just have everything in layers. It's like, oh, I'll just paint over it if it's bad, so it's fine. I have not heard of the clay pot story, no. I'll go, dude. Working had me tired, yeah. Understandable. Good night. See ya. If I find any drawings I haven't sent you, I will send them. It will happen. The drawing newsletter will be updated. It's an interesting matter of like change, because it's something. It's a funny way to work on yourself in a way. It's like not really very sensational, or like, I don't know, going to the woods and lifting weights or something like that. It's like, oh, I draw things and I speedrun Minecraft. It's like very goofy, but I can see the effects. I can see the effects because I am like generally shifting towards being able to actually just, you know, okay, you got it, go, right? No double checking. We're not thinking twice. We're not spending 12 years figuring out if I have the right amount of everything and it's like all planned out and it's figured out. It's like, no. The general planning, yes. Do the general planning, figure out like what are you gonna do, what resources are you gonna need, what's like the biggest risks, the most like important key resources. All of that, sure, yeah, that's a good idea. But after that, it's like, we're not worrying anymore, we are not overthinking this to the nth degree, we are actually going to take it and we're just gonna run. And then, you know, and then I'll figure it out as I go. It's like I also think a part of it is also, I think I've just developed, especially in terms of like programming and drawing, I think a part of it is I've developed enough skill in the matter to be a lot more confident with that, where I can actually, I can rely on myself to, for example, pick colors, and then even if I pick the wrong colors, I can rely on myself to be able to adjust them in a way that looks pleasing to the eye, at least my eye. You know how the you know eyes, you know how they are. So now Professor divided his class in two. One half be told to throw the best single clay pot they could as an end of the semester project. Told to throw as many pots as possible. At the end of the semester, the half threw the most pots. I didn't even know it was called throwing pots. Like my mental image of throwing pots is literally just somebody chucking pots at the wall or something. Oops. Yeah, the people who did more things in quantity were better off than the people who perfected it to, who like polished it to perfection. And yeah, I understand that. I understand that very dearly because I'm certainly prone to gold plating, where I just take I take things and I apply way too much, try to clean them up and go like way too far with like adding details, etc. And the funny part is, if you have like a general bigger flaw in the image you're drawing, the additional detail ends up making the piece look worse, because you detail the thing that looks wrong more, which ends up drawing attention to the fact that it is wrong. And this is a mistake that I see a lot in where I look online at like what people draw, etc. It's like very often you will have people that just don't have good anatomy, or like don't have good coloring, or don't have good like lighting or composition, and then you see them throw like a lot of detail into it. So like the shading's not gonna be simple. It's gonna have like a lot of gradients and a lot of stacking colors, etc. But then that only draws attention to the fact that it's like, oh, you're not actually, like, your fundamentals are lacking. So this doesn't look good. It looks over detailed for what it is. It's like then, and then it's like Pareto, I think is the way to pronounce that. It's like 80-20 rule. So the 80% of the 80% of the effect is done by around 20% of the work, and then the other 20% takes 80% of the work. So it's basically kind of what I'm talking about as well. It's like, you know, getting the general feel and things in place in the image right takes a hell of a lot less time than polishing it up to like perfection and like making sure like everything is perfect and there's no overlap and you can't see the brush strokes and you can see all the detail, etc, etc. So like that takes a tremendous amount of effort, and it doesn't really contribute much, actually. And that is also something I've noticed when drawing. It's like it doesn't contribute, like all the additional detail doesn't actually contribute much. If the most important thing to get right is the general geometry and elements of the image and kind of composition, like the big picture effectively. It's like the composition, you wanna make sure the composition is good, and you wanna make sure the colors are good. And then I think that like the best abstract pieces, like not the I drew random squares with random colors abstract, but I think this is the general principle behind if you want to make abstract art that actually looks interesting and not random garbage that pretentious people pretend is interesting. You place the colors and you place the values, so like where the image is light and dark and the contrast, and then you place all of that on the canvas in a way that you would if you were to actually define the subject in more like with shape and whatever else. I don't even know the terminology because I don't watch tutorials. So like you skip a certain part of defining what you're actually painting, but you then still do all the other things. So it's still interesting to look at, even if the subject is kind of abstracted away, because you can kind of insert your own subject, because all the other work on the fundamentals has been done in there. That's kind of what I'm thinking about it. But then on the other hand, it's like detail is appreciated and it elevates a piece or like something where you can see that the detail is on top of a solid foundation and the detail is also solid, which like this game Ori is just like a masterclass of that, where you have the fundamentals of where the colors are and where the lighting is and the design and the enemies, etc. All of that is like well designed, but on top of that, it has an incredible amount of detail that makes the game style just stand out from everything else, because they just, like, anywhere you stop, there's an insane amount of detail that just everything is detailed and it all looks beautiful. It's like the style feels rich because it isn't simplified, right? It's not like, oh, we made pixel art because we have one guy drawing the sprites, with all respect to that guy, but, you know, we have one guy, he doesn't have that much time, and he's not like a super turbo master genius, so it's like we make do with what we have. But this is like, no, we actually got like the best people on the job, and we let them do the best job, and it just absolutely pays off. I have, in fact, not seen Napoleon Dynamite, because I have not seen anything ever. I don't watch anything. aside from, of course, TikTok in copious amounts, as previously mentioned on the stream. Copious amounts of TikTok, don't forget that. Put that in my bio, in my biography, when somebody eventually ends up summarizing these streams. Like, put on my gravestone, on my tombstone, the quote, he loved TikTok, short-form video content. It's inspirational, in fact. Although, to be fair, I have a lot of ideas for what I could have on my tombstone. I feel like that's far from the best one. Like, I don't know, I like absurd humor a lot, so something in that vein. It's like Colin D, for example. That would be a good thing. It's like just Colin D. You walk on a cemetery and there's just a guy with a tombstone that just says Colin D. So just how did it happen? Maybe like a Lenny face. It's like kind of halfway ironic. It's like, if you know, you know. Yeah. There's a scene in that perfectly exemplifies what you're talking about, with detail on a flawed frame. I think, right, because I certainly am guilty of this. It's like, certainly you're trying to mask, you're trying to mask that you think the image looks wrong. It's like the image looks empty. It's like, it turns out, actually, the reason why the image looks empty is not that it literally is empty and you just need to throw more garbage in there. The reason why the image feels empty is because either the composition is wrong or the values are wrong, most likely. There's no kind of structure to what you are drawing. There's no it doesn't generate interest because it's bland in some way. It's like, for example, you grayscale it and it turns out it's all like grayscales into one color. Because like you can see, like, in this frame, right, you have your dark areas, you have your like foreground here, but it's like you don't spot it when you look at the frame normally because you focus on, you know, the character that is lighter, you focus on the ground that is lit more distinctly here because it forms like this line you're actually walking on. You know, you have like this element, for example, is like a certain element that you focus on, and this actually could be represented by like a couple brush strokes with like the color, the like dark brown color, and then this being a little bit more lit with like a little gradient going down, maybe just a tiny bit. And just like simplifying this scene into the colors and what is light and what is dark and what is like the foreground and background that are more like less noticeable, it builds like a structure and makes the whole thing have depth to it, even if you didn't have all the detail that is actually in here. Like because in motion, when you're playing the game, when you're running around and like just doing things, it doesn't like you don't see all of the detail. You can't see all of the detail. There's too much of it. It's like the big picture contributes a lot more. Send you the scene on Discord. I shall investigate. What's this? What is this? Am I gonna get? I might have even seen this scene before. Maybe you sent it to me before or something. Okay, I'm not. I will watch it with sound later. Boom. Thank you for endlessly culturally educating me on things that I should probably have some idea of, but don't. Man, permanently out of the loop on everything, receives one more movie scene to add to his collection of things to remember. Breaking news. I don't know, it's like... Because it's... you know, the autistic tendency to put way too much attention into trying to understand and like not just understand, because understanding is one thing, but actually convey things in words and form like some kind of theory that can be explained and conveyed to other people. It's like continuously go into that. But then I think there's, on the other hand, there's some value to it, because I wouldn't be able to talk about what I'm talking about it now if I wasn't thinking about it before, and if I wasn't actually trying to put it into words in a way that can be conveyed to other people. Then, and it's like with rationalization in general, right? It's like you wanna, if you feel a certain way about something, then probably the best way to actually get a hold of that and like calm it down is to name it, name the cause and name why it's happening and what is so important about it. And I think it's similar with drawing, for example. It's like, yeah, it's like if you have like something's wrong in the image, then you really want to find out what it is, because like throwing stuff on there and just hoping it works is usually not quite gonna be able to cut it. Because at the beginning, it's like later, after you learn a bunch and you've done a bunch of things and you understand more, then later you can pivot to relying on your intuition after you trained it. Because then it, but first, before you do that, you rely on the rational part of the brain to actually train the intuition before you go ahead. It's like, okay, Mr. Intuition, right? I understand we are having a little bit of trouble. We're like intuitively, like I feel something's wrong, but I have no idea what, and I have no idea how to correct it. And then later it's like I can actually name what is wrong with this, and because I can name what is wrong with it, I can try to correct it consciously and then learn from it, because I know what I'm doing. Well, I guess you can still, like, you can learn from what you're doing even if you don't understand what you are doing, but in general, if you make like a kind of, there's a kind of the scientific method in a way, where you end up experimenting. You form a hypothesis, then you know, perform the experiment, as in draw the correction that you thought of, and then from that you can actually take a conclusion and gain some knowledge. Okay, if I have an issue like that, for example, this is actually important in terms of solving it. It's like, okay, this is something that, like, I tried shading this way and it just didn't work. So it's like, what do I do this time then? What do I change in order to... It's like, oh, I understand. The reason why that was looking bland is because I have the light that is like... my light is scattered all over the place and nothing casts interesting looking shadows. There's no contrast between light and dark. And because of that, the entire piece looks very flat, which is I'm describing issues that I found with the Ori drawing that I did on stream. It's like, I understand what the issue with that is now. So but that's partly because I learned from it. So like I did that. I was thinking about it. I was naming it. I later tried different things with different paintings, and I figured out, it's like, yeah, okay, this is a problem. This is something that, like, this is something that is missing from the picture. And now I see it, and I wasn't able to see it before. So now I can, next time I do it, like if I were to correct it, I can take that, and I have a starting point to do something. Because I ended the drawing because that's how I usually end things. I end up in a spot where I think it's like, okay, I can't really do anything else with this. Or it's like either that or I don't want to. It's like either I can't see anything I could do to improve it, or the other one is I can't really... Like, I could, for example, polish it, I could like clean it up, I could remove some mistakes, etc., but it wouldn't add to the tone, or like it wouldn't add to the feel. It would just be like polish for the sake of polishing, and because there's other things to draw and I'm satisfied with this, then that is effectively just wasting time. I don't know, it's like it's an interesting process, if nothing else, because part of it is, it does feel a little bit like I'm, you know, I'm both the guy in the driver's seat and I'm making all these decisions and I'm learning, but I'm also observing the process kind of like it is by definition and necessarily in first person, but it sometimes does feel like there's two components to it. It's like one of these components is the conscious part and the rational part that is thinking about all of that and considering it, and that part kind of looks at the human part that is just doing things and figuring things out and learning. It's like I can name the like I've been doing, right? I'm like naming certain processes that are happening, but then like just because I name them and like because I understand what is happening, that doesn't disable these processes and it doesn't remove the value from going through them. Just because I understand them, because understanding and being able to comprehend what is happening and look at it is not a replacement for actually going through it. Oops. I know. Life's interesting. Life's interesting. Which is, I know, controversial and shocking statement, I realize. But there's like so much to think about. It's too much to think about, you could say, and you could stop thinking, and you'd probably be right. I have anything else? I'm wondering if I have anything else in terms of drawing to talk about. Because I feel like I've forgotten something, but the problem is I am, and you can probably hear it in the way I'm speaking, because I'm probably slowing down. But I am starting to fall asleep. It's true. It's happening. I am very clearly. I'm slowing down. It's like the system's shutting off slowly. So if I don't remember the drawing thing I wanted to mention soon, I'll be. Well. Oh yeah, the counterpoint to the thing, because on one hand it's like a new technique, but then on the other hand I feel like it's not that different from what I've been doing. It's like on yeah, you see, falling asleep. On one hand it's way different because it's well, because I'm doing a different technique and approaching things differently, so of course it's different. But then at the end of the day, like there's still a lot of improvising that goes on, and there's still a lot of the, like I was already doing a lot of improvising, and then the process wasn't fully thought through and like rational and calculated. So it's like it's not completely new and like not completely shocking and different. But it's then also. It is still like different in significant ways though. Ow. Especially, it's interesting because I for a long time I have this. Oh, sorry. I have just more evidence that I am falling asleep, in fact. I'm not lying. I'm not making up. I have like this black and white style, and that is very like line heavy. Because it's like entirely lines, and then it's... Well, then it's thick lines, so in a way it also operates with shape. And it operates on like the broad and big picture. As opposed to like really thin lines, which are... I guess they also operate on shape, but the lines are not actually shapes. I think that's what I'm trying to get. So lines, if you have thin lines, the lines themselves are not really shapes. Unless you do... Because some people do like variable width lines and then thickness, I guess, and then that kind of is a... Dude, this is an absolute disaster. I can't string together a sentence. And now I forgot what I even was talking about. Something about drawing. What was it? I've got no clue, man. I'm blank. It's Jova like it's never been Jova before. It's probably a good moment to good part to end it on, I think. Good ideas. Okay, stand here, I guess. It's been a while since I've done a stream like this, and certainly missed it, I think. It's nice to just unload a bunch of thoughts I've had and put them into words and send them out into the ether. Because it's like all these things are swirling through my head on a regular basis, not quite like named and organized like that, but I keep kind of running into the problems. I keep thinking about these things, and I keep getting annoyed at clickbait thumbnails all the time, so... You know, it's nice to share the pain, in a way, and just have like something to it. It's good talk, I think. I heard that is somewhat coherent and useful. Hopefully. I don't know, usually I end up feeling like it's all fairly obvious and you could figure it out just from the start, but then I have to remember, it's like, okay, not always talking to people who have thought about these things, and it might be useful, and just because I find it obvious and trivial, etc., or like I thought about it a million times, doesn't mean everyone blah 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 blah. The point of which being stop self-deprecating without, like, for no reason. Message to self, note to self. Alright, anyway, it's time to stop rambling, because I'm falling asleep and I'm clearly incoherent, so... thank you very much for watching, for showing up, for talking. It's a good talk. I appreciate having people to actually rant to. And it's time for me to assume the horizontal position and in fact go to bed. Good night. Bye. Have a nice day if that's your time zone, your weird time zone.